this video, I'm doing a sort of bridge construction project sort of thing. I wanted to try something different from the normal interchanges, and I've been seeing a lot of people on Reddit have been making road construction sites, and I have thought about doing that in a while. I've made a couple like a year or so ago, but I thought I'd do it a different way. I'd make a bridge construction site. I think I've seen a couple of these on Reddit, but I thought since we got the new asphalt mod, I could make it so the bridge looked more like it was being constructed, because normally it's a concrete bridge. So what I did was, as you can see here, I'm changing the colour of the asphalt mod to be a more grey colour, like more concrete. But as I'm placing these, I realise even though I place this bridge, it's not flat. And then I just force it to ground, but it still isn't flat. So I go on trying to make it flat. It's still not flat. So I just go crazy and just go there, and it works out fine. I also realised that I used the wrong decals. I used the ones you can't place decals on. Although looking at it now, I think you can place decals on those, but when they're elevated it does weird stuff and decals are hard to place on it. And with this side of the bridge, I did something different. I wanted to make it look like it was part way under construction. So most of it's done, and then I added this pedestrian path to make it look like this bit was under construction, like the main bit was under construction. They're adding the side panels and all the electronics and stuff for the lights. And it turned out quite well. I would have preferred if there was some sort of way that I could have done it like without the railings, but I guess they would maybe have temporary railings on a bridge construction site to stop people falling off the edge. And I sort of just move it in to make it more straight. I don't like the point very much, but there's not much I can do about that. And I just sort of wanted a straight cut, unlike the other side where it's a rounded bit, because that's just how the roads work. Now I'm removing the pillars from this bit, because this is like a section of bridge that's being added on, and normally they look a lot different to that, but that was the closest I could get within the game to what they look like. They normally just look like they're big solid cast bits of concrete, and that was the closest I could get. It looks right, doesn't look great. So what I'm doing here at the end is just adding parts on, because I'm imagining that construction to lay the tarmac or asphalt has already begun, and they're just, as construction goes, obviously they would be try and get it all done so that as you reach the middle, the last bit of tarmac is being laid and you can get right there. So that's what this is, and I'm just covering up the lines. I probably should have covered up more of the lines, because I don't think they would start painting until, like, that would be the last thing they did, would be painting the lines, but it's not very visible at a distance, which is nice. Now here I am just adding pickup trucks and props to the bridge, and then I realised that it doesn't have a pillar under the main span. So I go through my props looking for suitable pillars. I think this one looks alright, but it's not very similar to the other one. So I go through looking again and find these and here, and it looks fairly similar. I probably have the other pillar somewhere, maybe, but I couldn't find it. And these look nice enough. So I just sink those into the ground a bit, allowing them to just touch the bottom of the bridge. And then I get on to fully detailing this top part with just stuff that would be here, like a workplace, some toilets, a generator, some cables. I think I add like some metal girder props, some pipe props, just things that would be here because, well, I'm not 100% sure containers would be on it, but a lot of stuff is put on top of a bridge because I guess it's just easier than winching it up when you need it because it's already there. So all this stuff is just on top of the bridge to add detail, because otherwise it would just be a plain bridge. On the end bit here, I noticed that it's sort of, on bridge construction sites, obviously they've got the rebar and they're laying the concrete, and they normally have a mesh sort of grid thing above where they're laying the concrete. So that's what that represents. I do it on either side just to add to the detail of the bridge. This bit up here is just a generic, like a dumping ground for waste resources like concrete and sand. Well, I don't think I put any sand, but like dirt, just stuff that they need. This is like the dumping area of the whole place. So I simply go over it with the surface painter, and to give it some texture when you're zoomed out. And then I go through placing props just in random locations where I think they would park up, and a couple diggers. And after I place this down, I go through and add decals, dirt decals to the ground to give it a nicer look when you're close up. Now these are to more closely represent the way that bridges tend to look when they're being built. They have this weird sort of thing going across them, I guess, to support the tools and to lay them in the correct direction. It's a shame you can't elevate those, because I would have liked to put them over the other bits of the bridge, but you can't, so I had to put them only in that area. And this is the tarmac sort of layer. So it's laying the tarmac, and then the roller is coming in after it and smoothing it out, smoothing the bridge out, making it nice and usable. Now here I'm going through looking and seeing why my decals don't work. I was really stupid because I've done plenty of elevated things before, and I know decals don't work if they're not on the ground, and yet I still go through and think, why are these not working? Yet I know you have to place them onto the ground for them to work. So I don't know why I thought that. Didn't think that till just now, but that's why this bridge looks a little dull. I do change the colour of the tarmac and just make it look more dull, because it looked far too bright as it was, which did suck. Now here I was thinking when I originally did it that this would be just a valley. Maybe I'd have some houses in the bottom of it, but it was a bit boring, I thought, so I had this river running through the middle, and then I fill it with water, and it looks quite nice. It's like, there's also a smaller bridge I built to the side, which is like the older style bridge that was used before this one, but obviously this is like an upgrade to the infrastructure of the area to allow more traffic, because it's a very small bridge that I build that you'll see in a couple minutes. But here on the other side I'm just adding props, adding like a more like that grid system above the rebar to make it look halfway decent. Here's the bridge that I was just talking about. So I use these really nice bridge assets. They're a little bright, but when I turn down the time of day, they get better. So it's a problem with a lot of props. They're just so bright. I mean, it could be my colour correction, but they just seem to be so very bright. I mean, it's a great asset, and I can't do this, but who thinks that bridges are this bright in real life? I mean, maybe it's just what bridges I've seen, but they don't tend to look this bright. It could be the type of stone, I suppose, but who knows. And then as I get to placing the road, I'm thinking there's no road that is small enough to place on this bridge. Maybe I forgot about a road, but I ended up using the pedestrian path because it was the smallest road to fit. Because every other road either can't be elevated or is too big. So I'm not sure what the plan was, who created that asset. Maybe it was the pedestrian path they thought that would be used, but I would have liked to have been a proper road with tarmac on the surface. But it turned out quite well. So here I am on the river, just doing a bit of detailing on the sides, adding some dirt decals on the edges, allowing it to be like worn, especially around the bottom of the bridge, just to add some, like, this is where people have been, trucks and equipment has been stored, and because it's obviously a construction site, so it's all going to be worn down. And now if you like this sort of thing, like me just doing random things like construction sites or smaller sort of builds where I just build areas, like maybe a small village, a couple houses in a row, something like that, just very detailed. If you like that sort of thing, just, I don't know, let me know in the comments if there's any areas you want made or would suggest. Like, it would be nice to make a very detailed, maybe even just a single house, a very detailed house. That would be nice. Or a very detailed row of houses, or a very detailed small country lane, or maybe a church, stuff like that. I have been thinking about that. It would be easier than making large interchanges. Not that I will stop doing that, because I like doing interchanges, but it just it can be difficult to do. Because before I was building this bridge, I was building another interchange which is still not finished, and it's just, they take so long, and I just get a bit bored by doing the constant moving of stuff, and when I finish with it I don't really like how it looks, but then I've got to detail it, and then I do like how it looks. But getting from the point where I don't like it to I like it, I've got to detail it, and I don't feel the motivation to do it. But here I was just detailing, thinking, placing props down, enjoying it. So if you have any suggestions for other projects like this, similar to this, where I detail a smaller area, it would probably be smaller than this because the bridge construction site is quite big. But you got any ideas, let me know. Someone in my last video where I did some of me driving around said about doing a very small detailed area from where I live, so I might do something like that. But if you've got any other ideas, let me know and I'll give it a go. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of different video, and if you've got any suggestions, just leave a comment, let me know what you want, what you feel like's right, and I'll leave you with the rest of the time lapse where I do a bit more detailing obviously, and I add the trees and shrubs to the area, and there's a tiny bit of cinematics at the end. Thank you, and see you next time.
stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on 2 separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.